All right, racers, welcome to the 2026 Saguaro Showdown backyard ultra, not background ultra. I'm super stoked this year. It's going to be a really good year for the backyard. Um, we have a lot of people running, we have a lot of people rucking, and we have a lot of people in the backyard 24. So this race brief is going to be super important for you all. It's going to contain information that's logistics. It's going to contain some crew tips for those of you that are first timers. And it's also going to give you the rules of engagement for each of the different events. So let's get started. Don't want to waste too much of your time on this. All right, schedule of events. Um, tw Friday, the 23rd of January, there's a couple things that you can do. You can come in, you can set up your camping area if you want. That all has to happen from 5 p.m. to later. The course will be open to preview at 5 p.m. If you are planning on overnighting there, you can stay on the southern end of the Ramada. We essentially own all that area starting on Friday. It's dry camping only. When you get to the park, it's $10 per vehicle per day. So if you get to the park Friday, you get to the park Sunday, and you're planning on running into Monday, I would highly recommend that you just pay out your days ahead of time. If you are overnighting in the event area, it's $22 per night. So be thinking about that and what you want to do logistically as you come in. There'll be a race bib pickup from 6 to 7 p.m. It's really going to be probably from 5 to 7 in reality. I'll be out there pretty much all day on Friday, but I will most likely be in the area between 5 and 7. Definitely will be in the area between 6 and 7 p.m. On Saturday, from 07 to 07:30, there'll be a race big pickup. It's nothing crazy. You come in, you check in with me at the start or at the racer corral. I'll give you your bib and we can go from there. At 7:30, there is a racer brief inside of the racer corral. I will do a roll call to make sure everybody's there. So if you didn't pick up your race bib in any of those other times, I can hand you your race bib at that point in time. But being that we have a little over 80 participants this year, trying to do that all during the racer brief is going to be really tough. So I'm just going to do a roll call and then from there we're going to head on out. 8 o'clock is the first yard. For those of you that are new to backyard events, 1 yard equals an hour. So at 8 o'clock, the race is going to start. And then at 8:05 or immediately following the start of the race, we'll have a crew brief that will go over questions and answers, kind of talk about some logistics and things like that if you're a first time crew. We are going to be located at the Ussery Mountain Regional Park, which is located in the far east valley of Phoenix, east of Mesa and kind of northeast of Gilbert in that region. So if you're looking to go there, you're looking to navigate to Ussery Mountain Regional State Park. Alrighty. Now from here, Um, when you come into Usury, in an email that I will send next week, I will send you the drop pin for this specific location. And we are on the far end of the Ramada. So if you want to think about this, we're kind of going to be all kind of in this area right here. Um, that is, all of this is going to be public access. People will still be able to use this, but we want you to mostly focus in your parking and everything else down towards the southern end. There's two big Ramadas, one right here, and then another one right here. And that's where we'll be. Okay, so for overall layout here, there's a couple things to note. We're going to have porta potties staged at the start finish area. This is for you to go south and north. You'll be able to access this on every single yard, whether you're finishing or you're starting a yard. Um, this little brown rectangle on the east side of this parking lot is going to be a small little roped off area that's going to allow you to um, run north for a little bit on the No-So Trail and then head east on Blevins Trail for your loop. Both the ruckers, the runners, the Backyard 24, everybody will be doing the same thing. So that'll be a little roped off area. There is a water spigot. It's up here, kind of about midway up the parking area. It is fresh water. You can drink from it, you can pull from it. I would recommend bringing water containers to fill up, but that's another thing that you can do, another access point. This little gray block area that you see on the east side is actual public restrooms that crew can access. Runners can also access if you need a little bit more of a private area to do the things that you do. That's totally fine. These two yellow rectangles at the very southern end of this area here is going to be the runner's corral. And you're actually going to be sandwiched between, the runner's corral is actually between those two yellow rectangular areas. We will start and finish every yard from there. I will have this initially flagged off. The more crew, the more people you bring, the more tents you have set up in these areas here, the more the start finish begins to form out and you will begin to see and it'll be defined when you start. Alrighty, let me get out of this little pencil thing. Okay, I already talked about parking fees. Won't need to hammer home on that. Just remember, pay for your day use fees right up front, and any overnight fees, just pay for those as you come into the park. For the runner's loop, we're looking at 4.1667 miles for the day. It's all mostly groomed trail. If you're coming from out of state, we call this like the Arizona Rocky in some of the sections. Some people call it technical. We don't really think it's that technical. It's just rocky for us. You're going to have approximately two-ish miles that are downhill, and then another two-ish miles as you work your way back up onto the dike and back to the start-finish line. For the Rutgers Loop, it's 2.25 miles for the day. It's all mostly groomed, single track. You're going to come in and out of several washes, one-ish mile roughly downhill to the far end of the loop, and then 1.2-ish miles uphill, slightly uphill. You have roughly 115 feet of both ascent and descent. So as flat as we can make this and as runnable, walkable, ruckable as we can make these things. For the nighttime, runners and ruckers, Backyard 24 people, everybody will be on the same route. The only difference will be is the ruckers will stop at roughly 1 point-ish miles and then turn around and come back. Um, at the turnaround spot, there will be a hole punch. I'm going to give you a card and you will hole punch that and you'll when you bring it back to me, I'll mark it off that you completed that yard and then you go from there. If you ruin that hole punch, that's not a big deal. Um, we will, if it's raining, which has happened before, I'll hand out a whole in another index card and we can go from there. It's not that big of a deal. It's just proving that you hit that turnaround spot and you're on your way back. Okay, crew tips. There's definitely plenty of space. Being that we have 80 participants, I would highly recommend coming in and setting up as early as you can. It's a first come, first serve basis. There's no reservations of who gets what for spots. What I will say, and I'll tell you this as you come into the area to set up. If your goal is to do, 20-ish miles, 60 miles, or things like that, and you don't really have a big crew tent for folks that are coming in trying to do multi-day, I would say just try to use the Ramadas and kind of the local area around it. If you are coming, and maybe you do have a crew of people who is hitting multiple goals, and as those people finish, they're turning around and becoming crew for others, I would say try to get close up, as close as you can into the race crowd, go from there. Um, Consider each person is going to have a roughly 10 by 10 like shade shelter area. It's not mapped out. The only thing I'm going to do is mark out the race corral. Anything after that is how we form that whole area. And it gets to be pretty cool. So be ready for that. Also be ready for sun exposure. There's no trees or anything like that. And with sun exposure, it also comes with really chilly nights. For those of you that are running all day out there and then you go into the night, it's going to be cold. We will have a camp. There is a campfire ring out there. As long as there is a fire, we have the ability to have a fire out at the park. We will. We'll burn that most of the night. There are several barbecue grills that are out there. Not really grills per se, but you can bring charcoal and kind of grill it up um, if you want out there in the Ramada areas. Have plenty of water containers. There are some local groceries that are within probably 15 minutes. I'd say 10 to 15 minutes in the parking lot. Target, Bashas', Walgreens. If you're looking for coffee, it's roughly 20 minutes or so. I think there's a Starbucks that's even closer than that. But there's definitely gas station food, stuff like that if you're looking for the quick, simple stuff. We will be posting live results. I'll have that available. The best way that we've been able to figure this out by lap is to produce a spreadsheet that we've been running for many, many years now. And we just go through, we update it. It looks exactly like you see it here. As people DNF and more people are in, you'll see that list kind of go down. You can scroll to the left and scroll to the right. If you're a racer and you want to see results, these are the places to find all of those results. Alrighty, now let's get into some of the ROEs that are here. For those of you that are in a last person standing event, there's a couple things. One is that the course is measured both day and night. I would say at nighttime, you're going to hit kind of a dead spot in there. And on the night route for the runners, it may come up short, but just rest assured that it is 4 miles and 880 feet. For the ruckers, you're looking at roughly 2.3. It's not 2.5 anymore. The starting corral, it's measured to fit the field. It's going to be the same size. You got to be in the starting corral at the top of the hour. When I call out go, you better be in the starting corral. Um, every yard starts 1 hour after the last. I'll give you a warning, 3, 2, 1 minute warning, and then I'll tell you to go. I'm usually one that doesn't use a bell. I yell and you'll hear 3 minutes, 2 minutes, 1 minute. Sometimes if I'm sleep deprived, I'll give you it way too early. If you're a crew or you're a runner and you see that happen, let me know. For yards, when you're out on a yard, except for restrooms, you can't leave the course until it's finished. No non-competitors on the course, pacing, walking, anything like that. If your runner goes over time, you can definitely walk the course in reverse to try to find them and walk them back. A lot of times you find them asleep on the side of the trail, things like that. No personal aid during a yard. So that means when you leave the race corral, no water bottles can be thrown to you, no food can be given to you. You have to go out on that. Same thing, if you have stuff in your hand and that yard starts, you've got to go out with it. No artificial aids. So we're talking about comms, meaning, ideally we don't want you communicating with your crew, calling people on the phone, things like that while you're out there. This is all self-sufficient yard. No trekking poles when we out there. Slower runners, make sure that you just allow passes to happen, things like that. For winners, the results is really simple. If you're putting a DNF on the line, winner is the last person to complete a loop. There has been times where there have been no winners, and that's just the way that the backyard goes. If there are two racers that start, but only one goes out, the racer must complete that final loop. If a runner goes out and the racer doesn't know it and comes back, when they come in, that's the end of the yard. Pretty simple. We already kind of went over this. Just some other tips to maybe think about. Crews, usually 1 to 3 people are good. You try to do it in shifts. There's plenty of parking, things like that. So just make sure that you're good to go there. We talked about the 10 by 10 areas. Canopies are allowed. Light up your space however you like. And I would say that this whole community of people that are going to gather here for this race is what makes the start finish. The cheering, the music, the vibe, everything. We don't bring that vibe. The vibe is however you feel or what you need in order to do your best and be excellent out there for every single yard. So make it, do whatever you need to do. Over time, that will obviously diminish down into probably 2/10, and it's all good. We'll go from there. Okay, backyard 24 ROEs. There is no winner per se. Everybody has the same personal goal of getting to 24 hours or whatever your distance is. You're going to utilize the running loop. Same deal, same rules apply. No artificial aid or outside assistance. You must be in the corral at the top of the yard and go from there. You can be crewed. Same thing. You got a 10 by 10 area just like everybody else. Alrighty. That's all I have for you today. Like I said, this will go out. You guys can watch this. If you have any questions, feel free to hit me up. I will send out an update that will have a couple critical information for you all who are going to be traveling here and maybe getting out to the site. There'll be things like combos, there'll be telephone numbers, stuff like that. I'll make sure to get all of that critical information out to you probably Wednesday or Thursday of next week. So you have that ready to go for Friday. Aside from that, I'm looking forward to seeing all of you out there. I can't wait. It's always a really fun event to kick off the year. And with that said, we'll see y'all later.